All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 4. Today is Tuesday, July 18th, 2017. And what a way to start off a podcast with some good old Buttertones. That is the track Dax Back off of their second album, second full album, American Brunch. They're an LA-based band, and I've seen them a few times live. My old buddies, my old buddies introduced me to them, and I'm kind of having a weird time with them right now because it's, when you have like that movie or song or even like a band, like in this case, where you're kind of the only one that knows about them, so you're kind of having like this relationship with them, like enjoying their music. But as soon as like everybody else starts figuring it out and like starts listening to them and putting stuff on Instagram and Facebook about them, it's like, man, like they were my band, like I found out about them first. That's kind of happening with me right now and with the Buttertones. But they're still a great band. If you guys liked that track, you guys can check them out. I'll link their Bandcamp down in the description. That's where they sell their stuff, and you can actually listen to some of their stuff as well. So anyways, today, if you guys haven't, realized by the title of this episode or the thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone. I'm going to be giving my review. I'm going to be giving you guys a little story about what that happened last week. Involves movies. I thought it was pretty funny, and I'm going to be sharing that with you. I'm going to be discussing some of the latest releases that are going to come out this week in theaters. And just give you guys a quick, some quick movie news. We have some Spider-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp news, and go over some trailers for The Disaster Artist and Leatherface. So stick around for those guys. I know I haven't seen you guys, or you guys haven't heard of me for a while. The last thing I did was my Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes review, which if you've not seen that, you can find that on my channel, or a link to that's going to be on the description down below as well. And as always, guys, I will be putting little sections to each topic that I talk about. So if you guys are not interested in everything that I listed, if you guys want to hear certain stuff or my opinion on certain stuff, then you guys can go down to the description and click the time stamps to go to the topics that you are interested. So guys, it's been a while. I just been dealing with some stuff here in real life. So I haven't been having the opportunity to put a quality video or podcast for you guys, and I don't just want to put out something that I'm not really proud of or whatever. I've kind of done that before, and I kind of don't like that review, but that's, I don't know, that's a good thing, I guess, that I kind of want to be committed to offering you guys quality stuff, quality content. As I take a drink of water here, sorry about that. But something I want to talk about before I get into all that stuff is coming into this YouTube game, quote unquote. Man, when I first started back in February, it's already July 18th. It's been like almost 4 months. I think like 3 full months. Because I started, our first video went up February 27th. I think it was Oscar recap, and we also did like, I think, movie news, like our first Real Talk episode where we talked about movie news. That was February 27th. So all March, all April, all May, all June. So yeah, we're going on 5 months, and it's crazy. And I wanted to do this as a sort of a hobby, because I've always loved, if you guys listen to the first episode, first podcast, I should say, you guys know my love of movies has always been there. But I started this YouTube channel. It was a long time coming, and I finally started a YouTube channel. But I didn't know what I was getting myself into, as far as like, because I knew other people did this. Other people, especially I knew like the big people, like Collider over there does movie news and movie reviews. Screen Junkies, the Schmoes Know, Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns, the Flick Pick, just to name a few. I knew of those people, and I knew that smaller people do it too. But man, I didn't know that it was gonna be such a great community of people, who have that same love and passion for films as me. And that's something incredible that I thought I was gonna, that's what the kind of people I wanted to attract. But looking at everybody's videos, everybody I've subscribed to, and if you guys are listening, if I ever commented on one of your videos and stuff like that, I did take the time to watch the full video and, just watch everything creatively. Like everybody on YouTube that's doing this has a unique take to it. We're all offering the same thing in a sense. We're reviewing a movie, and a lot of times the same movie, but not only are we different in the person and our background or whatever and our way of speaking, but just the way we review movies, like our different points that we hit. That's why I love I love watching the reviews, but after I've done mine, so I can just create my own unique voice. But I love watching everybody's reviews after I've done mine, because it just gets me to think like, oh man, like that's something I didn't think about, or that's something I missed. And it's just different insights, and that's awesome to see how everybody has their own unique I guess I was gonna say plot points for some reason, but our own take on movies, and we come away from movies with something different. Like our reviews are different because of that, and that's so awesome. Like every review, we might agree generally with with War of the Planet of the Apes. It was a great film. Something like Transformers, we may not agree. Like, okay, it was complete shit, and some of us may actually have a different take on it. But it's just so cool to see, and I had to tell you guys that I had to address that, because it's just been so fascinating to me and so awesome to meet all these other different YouTubers and who review movies like me and do movie news and stuff like that, and just getting to meet them and seeing their work, and sometimes like now I've hardly see anything from the big people other than Chris Stuckman, to be honest. I used to watch Collider, and back when it was AMC Movie Talk, for those of you guys who know, I used to watch them like every day, and they have a lot of content, and they're great. They have awesome opinions and stuff like that. But for some reason, ever since I started this, I kind of just been listening to all my not my subscribers, but all my subscriptions, and everybody who takes the time to watch my videos, and we kind of have a community. So that's been something cool to I guess live, and I just wanted to tell you guys that. So shout out to all you guys doing the same thing as me. We're nothing but a community of movie lovers and with the same passion of movies. So I don't know, I'm glad to be a part of that. All right, guys. So moving on to my review for Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone. And what a way to start off the season. So if you guys haven't seen the episode, obviously I'm going to talk about spoilers. So like I said, there's going to be timestamps down below. So click on the next one after my review of Game of Thrones. So what can I say? I mean, nothing really big happened in the sense of like something major, like a character dying or something like that. But it was kind of, this episode was kind of like the setup for this season, and obviously the big thing, if you can say, is Daenerys finally reaching Westeros and landing in Dragonstone. Man, I love that scene. That scene is so powerful, and the only thing that's said is Daenerys. She says, "Shall we begin?" And not even Tyrion talks. And he's known to have these great, speeches and everything like that. He's known to talk a lot. But no, not even he said a word. It's just Daenerys, getting off the ship and putting her hand on I was gonna say snow, the ground and the sand, and heading up all those giant stairs. I don't know how they made it there, but man, it was so cool to see that. And man, shall we begin? I said that in my tweets and stuff like that after I watched the episode, because it's such iconic. It's like letting the viewers know, like, now shit's about to hit the fan. Like, Daenerys is a player now in the Game of Thrones. Well, she has been, but now more so because she's in Westeros, and she's ready to tear shit up with her armies and dragons and ships and all that stuff. So other than that, obviously we have Jon Snow and Sansa kind of dealing with the repercussions of the Battle of the Bastards, and all that stuff, and you kind of have a little conflict between them, and I like that. They're together, but they also have some different points of view. Sansa's like kind of worried about Cersei still, like, hey, she's a threat, and then John's like, you know what, we have to deal with the North, how the White Walkers and all that stuff, and how they're have a different views of the armies that fought with Ramsay. Sansa thinks that they're traitors. Well, they're traitors. They weren't against the Stark family and stuff like that. And she's like, you know what, they should be punished. Their castle should be given to worthy families that were backing us and stuff like that. And John has a point too. He said, you know what, right now we can afford to create any type of enemies, and we need everybody we can. And he even wants the men and the children and the women to fight. Hey, put a sword in their hand and start training them now. So it's a great back and forth. They're both wrong and they're both right in their sense, and that's what I like. But hopefully, I don't know. I mean, last season Sansa told Jon, hey, you know what? I know Ramsay. I know the kind of games he plays. Be careful, just don't do what he wants you to do. And he almost died because he didn't listen to Sansa. The Rickon got killed, and Jon almost got killed too. If it wasn't for the army that was like really close behind him, he would have got it again. So hopefully he learns his lesson. She's even telling him like, hey, Father did the same thing, and Rob did the same thing, and look what happened to them. So I don't know. I hope Jon pays attention. I hope he doesn't die again. Because of the same mistakes that his dad and, well, I guess his uncle, I should say. Or I should say Ned and Rob did. I hope he doesn't do the same mistakes as them. And I guess leading off that, we could talk about Sam, how he got to the library, and man, he's just living a shitty life. And no pun intended. If you've seen the episode, you know what I mean. How he's just basically cleaning up all the shit of everybody in there. I don't know if they're prisoners. I think they are. But the people staying in there and feeding them, and I like all the editing in that, how it kind of like cuts from him cleaning the shit and then feeding the people, and it looks like the same thing, like he's basically feeding them shit. But anyways, he's not having that great of a time there. He's reading the books, but the things that he does want to do is obviously locked away. But obviously we need him to find out information, so he gets the keys and he figures out that there's a bunch of dragon glass, and that's going to help Jon in the fight with the White Walkers. There's a bunch of dragon glass in I believe beneath Dragonstone. So that's our link, man. That's our cued. Once Jon really receives the message, he's gonna go visit Daenerys and say, hey, you know what, I need this, and you may need an alliance, or armies or whatever. You may need friends, so hey, we can help each other out. And man, I don't know if they're gonna find out that they're related. I was gonna say they're cousins, but I believe Daenerys would be Jon's aunt, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they're still family. They still have the same blood, and I'm interested to see how the dragons are gonna react to him and stuff like that. And I don't know if they're even gonna have that plot in this or storyline in this season where Jon finds out his true heritage, because so going off of that, we see Bran that he made it to the wall now, and he says, "Hey man, like look, let me in. I know what you've been through. I'm Jon's brother. Basically I'm here to warn you guys or whatever. He finally made it to the wall. So hopefully news breaks to Jon that Bran is there. He can go get him, and because I would love to see that story play out. Like, hey, you're half Targaryen, man. So other than that, man, that whole scene, it was probably one of my favorite scenes of the episode, where I'm forgetting the guy's name, but it's the scene with Cersei and Jaime, obviously, and the uncle of Theon, I believe, Greyjoy, comes out. What's his name? I forget his name, but he comes in to King's Landing, strolling in, and says, hey, you know what? He kind of, I guess, proposes to Cersei. and says, "Hey, you know what? I have my ships. I have all this, but Cersei, she's smart and she doesn't accept his, I guess, offer." And then he has a little back and forth with Jaime, which he kind of was a dick and like saying, "Hey man, I have two hands and I have all these ships to offer you." That was like, damn. Like I was like, Jaime, you better kill this fool. Jaime's for those of you who don't know, I haven't really talked about Game of Thrones, but that's what I said this podcast could be for anything other than movies. My favorite character has to be Tyrion Lannister. I know that's like everybody's favorite. Surprisingly, I thought Jon and Daenerys would be everybody's favorite, but I guess Tyrion's everybody's favorite. Shockingly, but Jaime's also one of my favorites as well. His story and his arc throughout the seasons have been great. And I just remembered that guy's name, Euron Greyjoy. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but yeah, man, that scene with him and like I said, Jaime and Cersei was awesome. You get the sense of that Euron is he's going to be a great villain. He has some of like Joffrey in him and some of Stannis even in him, and even of what's the dad's name, the Lannister dad. I don't know, but some of that guy as well. Like he's kind of a combination of everything. He's like ruthless and stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting, and he's gonna have a gift, I guess, for Cersei. And for some reason, I thought since she said to Jaime earlier, like, "Hey, now I want to focus on, our little brother, the traitor. He's over there with Daenerys and like being the hand of the queen and stuff like that." So I thought that maybe like he's gonna get Tyrion for Cersei, and maybe that's how he's gonna die or something. But that was just like my theory. But there's been a lot of theories about what the gift can be. One theory that I didn't think was that was said after all the after shows I watched was that I believe in the books there's some kind of like musical instrument that can I don't want to say manipulate, but kind of control the dragons or something like that. I heard that somewhere, that's in the books, and that he has that. So I was like, you know what? Maybe in the TV shows he doesn't have that yet, and he's gonna give that to Cersei. So that way, when Daenerys gets there, like, look, I have all these ships, these armies, and then my dragons. And she's like, "Oh, are you sure you have the dragons?" And she plays the fucking flute or whatever, and she has some of the dragons on her side or something. That was my theory. I haven't heard that anywhere else. One theory was that he was gonna get I think he's the bastard son of Robert Baratheon. He what's his name? Something with a G. He was last seen, I believe, in like season 3 or something. But I think like maybe he knows that he's still alive, because nobody, like a lot of people don't even know about that guy, that he exists, and let alone like if he's still alive. So maybe like he's traveled the world, he's seen him or knows where he is, and he's gonna bring him back. Because if you think about it, Baratheon back in the throne would be would mean a lot to the people. Better than a Targaryen, because the last Targaryen that was in the throne was a horrible king and stuff like that. So they're gonna probably rally behind a Baratheon, and instead of also a Lannister. So that's a theory out there too. But let me know in the comments down below if you guys seen this episode. What did you guys think? And what do you guys think the gift is gonna be for Euron to Cersei? Also. And something else that happened was the Hound. He kind of had a change of heart. I don't know what season was it where he was with Arya and they came across the same house with the dad and the little girl. But I remember that. But anyways, they return back. Obviously they're dead. And he's kind of telling those people that he's with. That he's not a believer and stuff like that, and how come you're still alive? Like, what does this guy want with you and stuff? But then they tell him, "Hey, look into the fire. Like, what do you see?" And he sees this big wall of ice, and I think he says that he sees it coming down. As I take another drink of water, but yeah, I guess he's a believer now because the next scene is him burying those people and said, "Hey, you didn't deserve to die," you know. So, it's going to be an interesting his arc, you know. I guess when he died, when we thought he died in the other seasons, I believe season 5, at the end of season 5. I guess the Hound really did die, and he's kind of come back as a different man, and it's gonna be interesting to see his journey. I think in the trailers you see one of those people at the wall, I think, are battling something. So maybe they make it to the wall, and they're part of the army that, you know, tries to hold back the White Walkers. You know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where we see the Hound. And of course, after talking about the Hound, we can talk about Arya. And, you know, that was so awesome to see her slaughter all those people. I believe, who they call, they're part of the Frey family, I believe. Because even Jamie said, hey, we had the Frey, but they're all dead now, you know? The Frey family. So that was awesome. How she was kind of like, oh, do you remember when you guys did this, when you did that? Like, oh, you guys killed all the Starks. But no, she said, you guys should have killed all the Starks, you know, every single last one of them. And then they start joking and stuff like that. And she reveals herself. And I believe the wife, yeah, because she was like, that fucking old creep was like dating or had the young girl as the wife. But she said, I'm going to leave you alive so you can tell them, you know, what you saw, and like tell them the North remembers or something like that. That was awesome. And she's going, apparently she's going for the Queen next, man. So that's going to be so interesting to see. She runs into Ed Sheeran. I heard that he was going to be in this season, like a cameo, but I believe he's going to be part of like the Arya story, not like a main character, obviously. I think she's going to kill those guys because she kept looking at the weapons and kind of, you know, they take her as this little girl and like, hey, like, she's like, oh, where are you headed? They ask her that and she's like, oh, I'm going to kill the Queen. And they laugh at her and she's like, haha, yeah, you know, I'm playing, but she's not. Like, we know that she's a badass, so maybe she's going to end up killing those guys. I don't know. But that was cool to see Arya, and, you know, now that she's going for the Queen, like, I thought she was going to try to rejoin with Jon and Sansa, but she's on a mission. So other than that, I think that's basically it. Everything we got in this episode, all the major plot lines and stuff like that. We got a little bit more of a back and forth between Brienne of Tarth and what's his name? Not Bran, freaking Braun, I believe. He's the big guy, the wilding. That was pretty cool to see. Oh no, actually that's the other guy. That's what Jamie. But the wilding, I forget his name. We got a little bit more back and forth, so that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, next week's episode is called Stormborn, and that's what they call Daenerys. And that's actually, I believe when she was born, there was like this big storm or something like that. That's why they gave her that nickname, Stormborn. So hopefully we get to see more of her, and maybe we see her already with Jon. You know, Jon gets the memo, and I haven't seen the preview for next week's episode, so I kind of like doing that, so I will like not know anything at all. So yeah, hopefully next because we have 7 episodes in this season, which sucks. But you know, I think they're gonna be longer. I think this one was like about an hour and 2 minutes or something like that. So, yeah, because I think like the directors or the producers or something, David and DB, they said that they wanted like a 70-hour movie or something, you know. So that means like each episode is gonna be an hour. I think last season like each episode was like close to an hour, so those minutes add up, and it's gonna be longer. So that's awesome. And hopefully the next season's not delayed. So let me know, guys, if you guys would like me to do a video form, you know, kind of along the same lines of my video reviews and my movie reviews. I can do videos for Game of Thrones. A lot of people are doing it, so that's why I was like, you know what, I don't necessarily want to do this, but then again, everybody else does reviews and stuff like that. So let me know if you guys got this far into the episode, if you guys would like me to do videos for the Game of Thrones reviews. Yeah, So with that being said, guys, let's move on to a little story that I have for you guys. If you guys saw my review for The Big Sick, I think I was supposed to do another review besides the War of the Planet of the Apes, and the reason why you guys didn't see that because something happened. So, anyways, with this whole movie reviewing thing going on, I've been wanting to get tickets to a movie that basically like early screening, so I can bring you guys a review earlier, and that way you guys can get like, okay, this guy is gonna bring us reviews and sometimes early reviews and stuff like that. So I wanted that aspect in the channel. So I was so excited because I finally got tickets to see a movie 2 weeks before its release, and that movie was Atomic Blonde. And so man, I was so excited. I took the day off from work and asked for the day off and everything. And I went with my girlfriend. We went to we had to drive, it was a few cities over from us. And but we made the drive. We got there like 2 hours earlier. We got something to eat, and then we went to go to see the movie. But while heading to the entrance of the movie, I seen like two people walk out with the paper ticket, the paper pass. And I was like, oh no, like something's wrong. But once I get in there, like another person's getting like rejected or whatever, and is leaving with that same pass. And I talked to the usher or whatever, and I was like, there's something's wrong with the screening hall. And he's like, yeah, it's full. And I was like, son of a bitch, like god damn it. Like the one time like I get tickets to go see a movie in advance, it's full. So I was like, damn it, I was bummed out. But my girlfriend's like, you know what, we're here already, let's just go check out a movie. And she's been wanting to watch The Beguiled, and I have been too, but it's just like, it's not been in, I haven't had a chance to see it. Every time I went to the movies, I was always seeing something else. And since we were at the movies already, and that was actually playing it in that theater, we got tickets to that. I saw The Beguiled. I was going to bring you guys a review, but I thought it was kind of past its time. A lot of people did a review, and yeah, if you get a quick little review, I liked the movie. It was very much kind of what I expected, but also I was kind of expecting more. The trailer kind of paints a different picture for you. But with that being said, overall the acting was phenomenal. I think gosh, I can't believe I forgot her name. Sophia. She did a phenomenal job directing this movie. I feel like I've only seen Lost in Translation, but I feel like every movie she's done has been leading to this, like kind of having a I don't want to say a bigger production or something. I don't know, but I just felt like her directing was not flawless, but darn good. That was one of the highlights of the movie. The acting was one of the highlights. But yeah, I guess where it falls apart for me, it's just like, it's kind of, I don't know, like something's missing from the movie or something. Like, something wasn't there. I don't know. I guess I was expecting a little bit more, but with that being said, I enjoyed the movie. I would recommend it for you guys to go see it. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. So if that's playing in the theater near you, go check it out, especially if you're a Sofia Coppola fan. So with that being said, let's get to the movies releasing this weekend. We have two big ones, and first starting off, I was gonna say that's what she said, but first starting off with Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's next movie. Man, I've seen every movie of his but Memento, and I'm gonna see that, and I'm probably gonna bring you guys a review of that. Not sure what I'm reviewing this week for the older movie. But I am going to be reviewing Dunkirk on Friday, so stay tuned for that. And I'm also going to be reviewing the other new release, which is Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. I'm excited for both for different reasons. Like I said, Christopher Nolan hasn't missed, in my opinion. Even The Dark Knight Rises. I didn't think it lived up to The Dark Knight, but I still thought it was an amazing movie, a film. An achievement nonetheless, and I didn't think it was a horrible like bad movie. I just think it wasn't up to par and wasn't what everybody expected to be after the Dark Knight. We wanted something like better than the Dark Knight, but that was almost near impossible. And I think Nolan did a great job in concluding that story, in his story with the Batman and Bruce Wayne, and how he's a symbol, and kind of now Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. No, he's not Robin, so let's stop with that. He was going to kind of take over this mantle of Batman, because anybody can be that. Like, he's not just a man, he's a symbol. And I think it was a great trilogy, and it was greatly wrapped up. So with that being said, Interstellar 2 was also one of those movies that were kind of hit or miss with people. I personally really, really, really enjoyed it. I didn't like it as much as, an Inception or Insomnia, or obviously The Dark Knight or The Prestige, but I thought it was a really well done movie. Visually was stunning. The story was really well done. The characters were great. But it's because, I guess, for me, he doesn't have a bad film at all. But a lot of people would say The Dark Knight and Interstellar are kind of down there, I guess, if you can say down for Chris Nolan. So I guess everybody's excited for that. I'm excited too for Dunkirk. It looks great. I love war movies, and especially World War II movies. I don't know why, especially that war. Like, every time there's a movie revolving that around that war, I get super excited. But Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets kind of came out of nowhere for me. I heard the name and I heard it was in production. What caught my attention was that the City of a Thousand Planets. I thought that seemed unique. I believe it's based on a graphic novel or a comic series. I'm not sure. Please don't hate me for that. But I saw the first trailer and I was like, you know what? It's gonna be one of these movies, that's kind of just there. But then the second trailer hit and I was like, wow, like, I'm excited for this movie. This movie looks good. Like, it's a unique sci-fi adventure with unique characters, unique worlds, and that's something I really like. And so far it's been getting mostly positive reviews. There is some negative reviews, but for the most part positive, so that excites me. With that being said, for Dunkirk, I think it's like at 98% right now, Rotten Tomatoes. My gosh. But those are the two major releases coming out this weekend, and hopefully A Ghost Story gets a more wider release. I really want to see that. I think it's playing in 2 cities near me, but it's, like I said, it's quite a drive, and I have a lot going on. So hopefully I can man, I got the idea of going to see it tonight. I don't know, hopefully I can see A Ghost Story, but hopefully it's released wider this weekend as well. Alright guys, so moving on from that to a bit of movie news, if you will. With Spider-Man 2, Kevin Feige was being interviewed for, I believe, either a D23 or somewhere, but he kind of revealed that, you know what, we're kind of gonna stick to new villains. Spider-Man has an amazing rogues gallery, I should say, and we kind of want to play around with new villains that we haven't seen. So that's why we got the Vulture, and we got a hint of well, if you haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, I guess this can be a bit of a spoiler, kind of. Not a major one that will affect this plot or the story or whatever, but listen to the other story about Spider-Man if you don't want to hear any Spider-Man Homecoming spoilers. So that being said, we got kind of a hint of Scorpion also. Matt Gargan, I think, or I believe his name is Mark or something like that, Gargan. So maybe we can see him in the next movie. Hopefully, I was going to say I really want to see Electro, but he was done already in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Mysterio, I gotta say, is the villain that I really, really want to see on screen. I was going to say Venom, but he's obviously, him and Carnage are getting his own movies in Sony next year. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a good thing. At the same time, for some reason, I feel like the Norman Osborn part of Peter's story is like, for some reason I get like Green Goblin is his like Joker, but I know a lot of people say that's Venom or Doc Ock or something like that, but I would really love to see that aspect of I guess the Oscorp and stuff like that, of Harry coming into play again. It has been done before, but I don't know, I would like to see at least Oscorp like incorporated, into that story somehow. But yeah, hopefully we get some new villains. It'll be interesting to see. Craven, man, that would be an awesome villain to incorporate. But yeah, speaking of Spider-Man, we do have another news, and that's that Spider-Man Homecoming is the biggest drop in weekend 1 to 2 in the MCU to date. And that's in terms of box office. And with that being said, it dropped from week 1 to week 2, it dropped 62%. And that's a lot. But with that being said, other movies in the MCU that were more than 60 but not 62, that's again the drop between week 1 to week 2. That's Incredible Hulk and Captain America: The First Avenger had more than a 60% drop from week 1 to week 2, but not more than 62. And then Iron Man 2, Age of Ultron, not Iron Man 2, Age of Ultron, but Iron Man 2, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Captain America: Civil War all had a more than 59% drop. But with that being said, I for Civil War and something like Ultron, Avengers: Age of Ultron, I think it's because the majority of like hardcore fans and people who really wanted to see it already saw it week 1 because they made massive amount of money. So that's why the drop was so big. In terms of Spider-Man Homecoming, though, I don't know. I'm kind of shocked. I thought it was still. I think maybe because War of the Planet of the Apes opened up, that obviously that took some of its money away and potential earnings. But yeah, I still thought it would do like maybe like 45% drop or something like that. That's a lot. I don't know. I think a lot of people are saying it's because it's coming off Amazing Spider-Man 2 and how that one wasn't really received well. Yeah, there was Civil War, but you know, he had a small cameo in that. It wasn't really his movie. So with that being said, hopefully the sequel will do better in the box office. Hopefully this is enough for Marvel and Sony to continue working together. I would much rather see that than, you know, Spider-Man and Sony verse or whatever again. But with that being said, guys, I have another piece of Marvel related news, and that's for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I believe like a week or so, it was revealed that Randall Park was going to be in the cast of Ant-Man and the Wasp as Jimmy Woo, I believe, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. But now we're getting news of another actor joining the cast, and that's Walton Goggins, as I like to call him. Walton Goggins. Obviously from, you know, I believe Vice Principals in HBO, and also Justified, and I believe the S.H.I.E.L.D. I think he was in, and obviously in the Hateful Eight. He's an incredible actor. I love Walt Goggins. So hearing that he's going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I believe he should be playing the villain. And I hope they give him more to do than kind of like Michael Keaton as the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. That would be amazing to see Walt as a villain. But who knows? He might be playing any number of characters. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I love that guy. He's such an incredible actor. He was so amazing in the Hateful Eight. So, but yeah, with that being said, guys, we're going to be moving on to the 2 trailers I wanted to talk to you guys about. So kind of this podcast has turned into, I guess, the movie news, I guess. Hopefully I told you guys at the beginning of the episode, I had a lot, you know, that I wanted to say at the beginning, that there's going to be no guest. It's just me today. And when that happens, when I'm not able to get a guest, which is kind of going to be kind of often, I'm going to be just talking about movie news and what I think, about it. So and obviously trailers. So the first trailer I want to talk to you guys about is for The Disaster Artist, starring James Franco, Seth Rogen, and what's the other Franco's name? I was gonna say Danny Franco for some reason. Gosh, what's his name? Dave Franco. There you go. Started with a D. I knew it started with an S though. No, I just can't. So yeah, all those people come out in this movie, and it's about the I don't want to say critically acclaimed, but kind of this cult movie, The Room, classified as the worst movie ever made. I've only seen clips of it. I've never seen the whole movie, but what I've seen of it, it's like one of those movies that you have to see to believe, and it's kind of like with everything that we've seen in cinema so far, like as far as like spoof movies, I believe it's going to be one of those experiences where you see it and kind of be like, you know what, this is hilarious. Like, this is a great movie, but because it's so bad, you know? I haven't seen it. I might check it out before I see this movie, but A24 back at it again with another great movie. The trailer looks hilarious, and it's just kind of a movie about the making of this movie, The Room. Not to be mistaken with Room, starring Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay. That was a beautiful film. But yeah, that trailer, I mean, it got me excited for the movie. I want to see it. A24 hasn't disappointed yet. So, but the last trailer I want to talk about is for Leatherface, the 9th reboot, I should say, of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm just kidding. It's not the 9th. But look, the trailer looks all right. I mean, it looks like they're going for a Leatherface origins because they kind of did that already back in I don't know, because the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre I think came out in 2013, 2003. I don't know, but we had Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning or something like that, where it shows kind of him getting the chainsaw, you know, and stuff like that. So now we're gonna go all the way back to when he was a kid or something like this. I don't know. I mean, I think I might check it out because I love that character of Leatherface and I love that franchise overall, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love slasher movies overall, you know, like the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween. So I don't know, I might check it out. This trailer, I haven't seen the Red Band trailer though, so that one might convince me a little bit more. Right now, I guess I'm sold. I'll go check it out when it comes out. But yeah, I want to talk to you guys about that just in case you guys didn't know, and just in case you guys wanted to know my thoughts, I guess, on that. But to close off the episode, guys, I'm not going to be doing my normal outro, no transitions here, as normal, no musical breaks and stuff like that. I kind of want to just talk to you guys real quick about my Blu-ray collection, or I guess in this case /DVD. I just wanted to update you guys on, if you guys even cared, on some of the Blu-rays I picked up. I'll start with these two because they're DVDs. They're not out on Blu-ray yet, or I don't think they will be, because they're kind of smaller films. Sorry if you hear all the moving around of the cases and stuff like that. Excuse me. So the first one is for a film that I saw years ago. I don't remember quite when I saw it first, but the movie is called Blood In, Blood Out. And this movie, my brother introduced me to this movie, like I said, a few years back. I'm not quite sure when it was released. I'm trying to look for the release date here in the box. Oh, I thought I had it, but that's what she said. But yeah, guys, this movie is basically about, you know, I guess life in LA, I should say, and kind of how your life can get involved in these sort of like gang related stuff, and it's not sort of like too much gang related, but kind of how your life can be in LA if you don't, you know, take certain paths and stuff like that. And you know, there's drug issues in this. There's prison stuff and gang related, and one of the characters ends up being a cop. And you know how there's three main characters. So it's an incredible movie. I'm glad I picked it up. It's one of my favorites. So check it out if you guys haven't. I found it on Amazon for like $5. It is an add-on item, so make sure you plan on getting something else. So that's Blood In, Blood Out. The next movie was introduced to me by a good friend of mine, Paula. So if you hear, if you listen to this episode, what's up? What are you doing? So she introduced me to this movie called Wrist Cutters: A Love Story, and it's kind of like an indie film, and it's exactly what you think it is. It's a romantic comedy, I guess, and that involves I don't know, I don't want to give it away, but it involves something in the title. Or I guess somewhere in that realm. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite indie movies. It's such a one of those movies I can put on whenever and just watch it, you know. And it's one of my favorites. Like I said, I can't believe I picked it up already. Um, it's not on Blu-ray, unfortunately, but I'm glad I picked it up. Yeah, so those were the two DVD titles that I picked up. So yeah, check those out if you guys haven't. I would highly recommend both of them, Blood In, Blood Out, and Wrist Cutters, A Love Story. So let's get to the Blu-rays that I picked up. And I'm going to name them first, and I want you guys to guess which two of these films I've seen and which two I haven't. So I'm going to go in alphabetical order, since that's how I organize my Blu-ray collection. The first movie I picked up is Dumb and Dumber, of course starring Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. The second movie is The Shawshank Redemption. Of course, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman appear in that. And the third movie is Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus. Obviously Kirk Douglas, and to my surprise, Lawrence Oliver. I'm just kidding. And the last movie I picked up is Superbad. So I'll give you guys a minute from those movies, Dumb and Dumber, The Shawshank Redemption, Spartacus, and Superbad, to guess which two of these movies I've seen. And now that you guys thought about it, if you guys know me, if you guys are friends of mine or something and know me, obviously I've seen Dumb and Dumber and Superbad. How could I not? But also The Shawshank Redemption and Spartacus. I know they're two of the most, I believe The Shawshank Redemption is still number one on IMDb, is the best movie ever. And Spartacus is just, I know it's one of those classics. I did not know that it was directed by Stanley Kubrick. Because it's such a war classic. It's one of those films that kind of made action flicks what they are today, And I was surprised that Stanley did something like that. Obviously he's done other movies, but something like this, I didn't think that I was gonna say he was able to do it. Obviously he's able to do anything, but I don't know, that it was his cup of tea, I should say. But obviously it's an older film, so I haven't had the opportunity to check it out, but I am in the near future when I'm checking out other Stanley Kubrick films. But also the movie that I'm going to check out within the next couple of days is The Shawshank Redemption. I've seen this movie in bits, obviously in TV, but I haven't seen it all completely, so I'm going to check it out. It's directed obviously by Frank Darabont. And yeah, it's held as one of the most incredible I was going to say Stephen King adaptations, but also one of the best movies ever made. Like I said, I think it's still number one on IMDb. So yeah, guys, I'll give you guys Blu-ray updates if you guys want to, if you guys are interested in my collection, because my Blu-ray collection is in my reviews. So if you guys are interested, I'll do a Blu-ray collection video, and I can do updates if you guys would like on video as well when I get enough. I don't just want to have I think this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 and just make a video like that, so let me know if you guys would like that. So alright guys, like I said, I usually kind of give advice or inspirational stuff here at the end of the podcast. All I can say is that just do it. I'm going to be a Nike sport sponsor here. Just do it, buy Nikes. No, just kidding. But yeah, I kind of want to reach those people that are kind of in the same place I was, that are on the verge of doing what they wanted to do in their lives, but there's something's just holding them back, So if you guys have any questions on starting that, on how to make moves upon that, or even YouTube, because I do YouTube. I'm not the most successful person yet, or I'm ever gonna be, but I'm almost at 80 subscribers. That's something, it's not a lot. It's almost 100, and while Chris Stuckman has 1 million, but he was once at 100 subs, and he was just doing this because he loves it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this because I love it as a side thing. And because I always wanted to do something like this, because my passion has always been films, and I noticed that I get I guess not nerdy or whatever, but I get excited about talking about films with people, and it's something I love doing. So whatever it is you guys love doing, like I said, just realize what it is that you're gonna do and just do it. Whatever it is that's on the road, right there, roadblocks. Just find a way to get rid of them. Get your schedule down. Have great time management skills. Like take your schedule and say, okay, this is when I work. This is when I don't work. This is when I have the time to do this, and this, and set your priorities straight. And continuity is everything, guys. Consistency is everything, guys. Stay consistent. Upload at least 3 times a week, or if you can, at least once a week. You know what I'm saying? This is what if you want to do YouTube. If you want to learn an instrument, if you want to lose weight, and I'm one to talk, but whatever it is you gotta do. Like I said in that episode, I think it was episode 3 or 2. I think it was 3. Without commitment, you'll never start. And this is a great Denzel quote. Without commitment, you'll never start. But most importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. So yeah, guys, take whatever I say. Take me as an example. If you guys need more advice, then just reach out to me or reach out to other content creators if that's what you want to do. But yeah, just be positive. Live your life. Be yourself. Don't be anybody else. Don't live anybody else's life. And if you have people constantly, giving you negative thoughts or bringing you down, and this could be friends or family members, then honestly, I say stay away from them. That's something that I had to harshly realize, and that's why I only talk to like my immediate family and like 8 friends throughout like all my different jobs I've had, and even school, because you slowly start to realize that some people are just there to bring you down, and you don't need that in life. You don't need that negativity. So if it's something you got to do, go ahead and do it. I mean, that's what I've done, and honestly, my life's been more I don't want to say happy, but more productive, I guess, or I guess I can say that I've been more happy with life, cutting out those people that have just been negative and just bringing you down. They're just, for some odd reason, I don't want to say that they're jealous. They just want to be you, because we all have different lives. We all come from different backgrounds. So, it's quick to judge, and that's what they do. They judge you and stuff like that. So it's about stepping back and, letting them do whatever they have to do, letting them go in your life, just keeping those people that support you and are positive behind you. Like I said, just my immediate family here where I live. They may not always understand, the sacrifices you have to make, because you do have to make sacrifices. So, but in the end, that they are there for you and they are in your corner, and your true friends will support you in anything you do. So that's another thing I guess could be the overall theme of advice and I guess motivation. I guess to cut out those negative vibes, those negative people in your life. It may seem like, damn, like this person, wants me to succeed, but in reality, they just bring me down. So stay away from those people. I mean, if you know them for all your life, then, if you really want to be successful, you just have to surround yourself with positivity. Be positive within yourself and have that around you, and you'll be positive. You'll get great results. So, all right, guys, with that being said, this was episode 4 of the Real Talk podcast. Today is July 18th, a Tuesday. Man, we're already halfway through the year, guys. I'm excited for this weekend to see Dunkirk and Valerian, City of the Thousand Planets. Let me know what you guys are going to check out. And let me know what you guys want me to review this week. Because I do have Memento that I can review. Or maybe another one of Christopher Nolan's... I wanted to say Christopher Nolan's films. Or maybe even Luc Besson, I think is his name. The director from Fifth Element and the Valerian... City of a Dozen Planets. But I might do something Christopher Nolan based. I'm not sure. Everybody else is doing that, and I kind of don't want to. That's great for them. That's awesome, and I've been watching their videos, but kind of don't want to, go off that. I kind of want to do my own thing. So, but let me know if that's something you guys want to watch. So, with that being said, guys, I keep wrapping up this podcast. It's supposed to be done like 10 minutes ago, but I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys later on this week for sure for my Dunkirk review. Keep being awesome, guys. Keep moving on. Keep doing you. And I'll see you in the next one, like I said. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at The Real Talk, Talk with 2Ks. And as always, I'll see you at the movies. Later, guys.